Chad Gable, he's kind of been in a flux lately. Chad Gable has been in booking hell for the past 4 years, 5 years, however long it's been since he broke up with his tag team partner in American Alpha. And he's always kept things interesting. A lot of people said maybe he should have been Kurt Angle's illegitimate son in that angle, but alas, we'll never know the results of what that could have been, because I feel like that would have been a lot of fun. But this week we got some interesting news, I should say, about Chad Gable. This is according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter from Dave Meltzer. He said, quote, "Chad's always been awesome. He's always awesome. A lot of people I know, a lot of his friends want him to go to AEW, and I don't know what the contract situation for him is, but he's been misused or buried or whatever that is, and he's phenomenal." So, Dave Meltzer also went on to mention, again, kind of double down on this idea that a lot of Chad Gable's friends want him to go to AEW, meaning probably not going to stick around in WWE, or they don't want him to stick around in WWE. What do you think Chad Gable could be in outside of WWE, rather, and how would that kind of work?
Well, I think you said it once before. His moveset, his demeanor, the way he carries himself, he should have been who they used for Angle's son. And with that being said, I think he reminds me a lot of Angle in the ring. And I think outside of WWE, I think that's what he would be. He would be a smaller, little faster Kurt Angle. And I think the skill set is there, right? Like, he even has a little some mic skills, but the skill set is there. Like, you can market the hell out of Chad Gable. Chad Gable is so easy to market; it's ridiculous. Like, just put him in the ring with some of the especially some of these indie guys that are great technicians, or even guys that wrestle in New Japan or whatever. Like, put them in the ring with those guys, and you'll definitely get a hell of a show. Like, just take them out of WWE, and you'll see exactly what you get.
Yeah. I mean, you basically repeated something that I've said on this show, and I'm glad you did, because it really speaks to the point that Chad Gable is someone who, he wasn't, I don't know actually whether or not he was a fan of pro wrestling, but he wasn't like trained as a wrestler to begin his, adult life. He's not someone who was there for 20 years on the indies and then came over and paid his dues and then went over and went into WWE. This is someone who got a chance at the Performance Center, basically, after being an Olympian, after competing in the Olympics, after being at one of the pinnacles of his profession at the time, being an amateur wrestler, and then came in and got it almost right away. And there's a lot of people that have said Kurt Angle is probably the only big name out there that's like gone into pro wrestling, made that transition, and got it almost immediately. I think Chad Gable is right up there, man, because you saw if you go back and watch what he was doing in NXT and in 2015, 2016 with him and Jordan, it was amazing. American Alpha, that whole operation. Jordan was the heater. He was the big guy, right? And he did a lot of the amazing moves. Like, in the ring, he was great. But Chad Gable had the in-ring moveset, and he was the mouthpiece for that group. And the charisma he exuded, it was almost contagious. So he's someone who had all those skills, and I think it's been a matter of being able to utilize them best, and he's been utilized, honestly, as a joke for a lot of his run, especially recently. We all know that he was called Shorty G. We all know that he's been ridiculed. He got put into a tag team with Otis, which is, okay, honestly, better than nothing. I like Otis. I'm in the minority of everything. I like Otis.
I like Otis too.
But I think that, he's been misused, obviously, as Dave Meltzer said, but outside of WWE, I think anyone with any semblance of creative thoughts, any knowledge of pro wrestling and how this thing is supposed to work and what you're supposed to do with talent, I think anyone will tell you immediately that Chad Gable will be a star, a future world champion, because that's how good he is in the ring. Even all the squash matches he's been doing, this guy works his butt off every time. He embraced the Shorty G gimmick, which honestly, if it was given to me, probably wouldn't have done the same thing. Big shout
Right.
out to Chad Gable on that one. So he's done all this stuff, and he's made it work as well as I think anyone could. And that's a testament to him. That's a testament to his ability. That's a testament to honestly also what I think what his ceiling is. I think his ceiling is of untapped potential is just monstrous. And he's fairly young as far as wrestling terms nowadays goes. He's only, like, I believe 35, 36. So he's got a long time ahead of him, like at least a decade of a career ahead of him. So I think if he does leave WWE, considering, like, we don't know what his contract situation is, right? But if he
Right.
does leave, I do think that he'll make an impact, pardon the pun, anywhere he goes. Should it be AEW? I mean, I would like to see that, but it could very well be MLW. Start him versus Davey Richards. That could be
Oh,
a
man.
great feud. That would those would be amazing matches. He could go to Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor is trying to revitalize themselves. They're trying to build themselves back up into the king of the indies, for lack of a better term. So there's
man.
anywhere he goes, he's got an amazing track record behind him and ahead of him, and I think that he's going to do magic with whoever he wrestles.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, even Impact could be a stop for him right now, only because Impact is trying their damnedest to revitalize their program as well. So, I mean, there's so many places. I mean, hell, he can even go to NWA if we wanted to. But
Chad Gable and NWA taking that title. I mean, we don't know if he even wants to leave. That's the other thing.
yeah, we have no idea. We're just spitballing right now. But I mean, the skies are the limit for Chad Gable if he really wanted to leave.
Now, I mean, because since he just mentioned this in the chat, and I want to kind of ask you about this, what would you think about possibly recreating American Alpha with Chad Gable, right, and Gable Stevenson, who just got drafted to the Raw on the on the most recent episode of WWE Raw from the draft?
That wouldn't be. You know what? That wouldn't be a bad. That would not be a bad move. You know, actually, who I was thinking of recently. Just because he's been kind of popular. Steiner's son and Chad Gable.
Breaker Academy. Braun, my name is Braun Breaker. Fucking Von Wagner.
I hate that fucking name.
Oh my god, man.
But no, I love him in the ring though. I like his moveset. And he does wrestle a lot like his dad.
Just call him Rex Steiner. You could have called him Rex Breaker. Anything. Come on. You don't gotta.
You know what I'm saying?
Braun Breaker with 2Ks.
2Ks. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, as stupid as his name is, yes, I actually wouldn't mind them together either.
I mean, he could do magic with almost anyone, and even the stuff he's done with Otis, like I said, it's been, pretty good to decent. But Gable Stevenson, that could be an opportunity for them to revitalize his career and maybe pick up on what they should have done back in 2017 when they brought American Alpha back up to the main roster to compete, because that was a team. It wasn't one of those acts in NXT. American Alpha was not an act in NXT that, had a short shelf life or that would not have gotten over on the main roster. There's some like biggest example of this probably Adam Rose. Rose, great wrestler. I'm not saying anything against him, but the gimmick of don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Yeah, that whole gimmick it's NXT. It's developmental. It's to get you over with a funny gimmick, fun gimmick, whatever. You get a pop the first time you come out, and then it dies off, and that's just the truth. Right. But American Alpha had staying power because the guys could work in the ring. If you gave him, you didn't need to give him a lot of time. Give him 2 minutes every Raw, cut a promo, have Chad Gable say, "We're ready, willing," and Gable, boom, throws his rag just like I did this pen. Sorry for the listeners of the podcast. And that's it. And they could have gone on a streak. They could have been tag champions, and then you could have built to a big breakup angle, and those two would have made it work. That match would have been great.
Right.
But we'll never know.
But the biggest problem with, and we're not really talking about it, but the biggest problem is, he was doomed to fail anyway because Vince does not take care of tag teams. He doesn't care about tag team wrestling. Tag team wrestling not a big thing.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.